In the small and beautiful village of Eket, there lived a young girl named Idara. Idara was the 5th daughter of her parents, and she was a very beautiful girl. Unlike her older sisters, who were all dark in complexion, Idara was very fair and tall, and she had light brown eyes which complemented her fair skin. As the youngest daughter and child of her parents, Idara's parents took good care of her and gave her almost everything she asked for. As the years passed, Idara grew up to be a very beautiful and attractive girl, catching the attention of both young boys and older men. From her teenage age, Idara had both young men and older men asking for her hand in marriage, but she turned all of them down because she was deeply in love with a boy named Akan. Akan and Idara grew up together. They were childhood friends who ended up becoming lovers. Since Idara was head over heels in love with Akan, almost everyone in their village knew that they were together. Even Idara's parents and older siblings knew about Akan's relationship with Idara. In Eket, once a young girl reached the age of 18, she was eligible to get married and start a family with the man of her dreams, and Idara had been looking forward to marrying and settling down with Akan until something happened.
Idara, you cannot marry Akan. I forbid that!
Idara's mother said loudly. That day, Idara went to tell her mother about her plans and intentions to settle down with her lover. But instead of receiving her mother's blessings as she had expected, she received warnings.
But why, Mama? I love Akan. He is my best friend and we have been together for years.
Idara said.
Oh my God! This girl! Why are you so stupid? So because I allowed you to fool around with that wretched boy, you thought that you could waste your life with him?
Idara's mother said.
I don't understand you, Mama. What do you mean by that?
Idara asked innocently.
Idara!
Look at you. Look at how golden and beautiful you are.
Do you think Akan deserves you? You need someone who will take good care of you and treat you like a queen.
Idara's mother said.
Akan is not that person. He can barely take good care of himself, not to mention caring for you.
She added.
But Mama, I love Akan. His love is enough for me. My older sisters married the men they loved. Why can't I marry the one I love?
Idara asked. Are your sisters as beautiful as you are? See, let me tell you. You are the answer to the prayers I have been saying all these years. It is through you that God will lift me and this family, Idara's mother said.
How?
Idara asked. See, my daughter, beautiful girls like you are for big men, rich men. Since none of your sisters married a rich man, you have to do what they did not do. Look at the house your father and I are living in. We need a son-in-law who can renovate this house for us. Since God did not bless us with a son, then he must pass through a son-in-law to lift our family. And that can only happen if you listen to my advice, Idara's mother said.
I understand you, Mama. But I love Akan a lot, and I cannot betray him. I'm sorry, I cannot do what you are asking me to do.
Idara said.
You will break up with Akan. Enough of your fooling around. You're talking about marrying Akan, ba?
Tell me, has anyone in Akan's family ever bought a car? It seems like you want to suffer for the rest of your life. Now that I am advising you as a mother, you will not listen, Idara's mother said.
Mama, God is the one who blesses men. Just because Akan is poor today does not mean he will not be successful tomorrow.
Idara defended Akan.
You are talking as if life is that easy. You have the opportunity now to do something that will benefit your life forever. So I can benefit too. And you are saying rubbish.
In fact, from today on,
I no longer want to see you close to that stupid boy. And I don't want to see him anywhere close to this house. If you think I'm joking, try me and see what will happen. Foolish girl, Idara's mother said. Now get out of my room! Idara's mother yelled, and Idara walked out of her mother's room. Even though Idara was sad about what her mother had told her, she knew that her mother was telling the truth. Akan was from a very poor family and he didn't have a source of income. In fact, Idara was always the one who gave him money to take care of his basic needs. But I can't leave Akan. I love him. We have made so many plans together. If I leave him, he will never forgive me, Idara soliloquized. The following day, Idara was preparing dinner for her parents when Akan came to her house to look for her. Since it was already evening, Idara knew that her mother would return home any moment and she didn't want her mother to see Akan. Akan, please can you leave now? I promise I will come and see you once I finish cooking, Idara said as soon as she saw Akan. Why do I have to leave? I can wait outside your house or in the living room for you as usual, Akan said. No, please, leave. I promise to explain everything to you once we see later this evening, Idara begged. From the way she spoke and how she softly nudged Akan to leave, Akan suspected something was wrong. Are you sure you will tell me why you are suddenly asking me to leave your house? Akan asked. Yes, I promise, I will. Please just go for now, Idara said. Okay, I will wait for you at our usual meet-up spot. Please, don't keep me waiting for too long, Akan said. Then he left. Immediately after Akan left, Idara heaved a sigh of relief and returned to the kitchen. Just as Idara had predicted, her mother returned home about 10 minutes after Akan left. Precisely an hour after Akan left her house, Idara finished cooking and she served her parents. Then, after waiting for a while to see if her parents needed her for anything, she ran off to meet Akan. My love, I'm so sorry for keeping you waiting, Idara apologized as soon as she met Akan. Idara, is everything okay? Akan asked. Yes, everything is okay. Why are you asking? Idara lied. Nothing. It's just that you have never asked me to leave your house before. I was just surprised that you did that today, Akan said. Babe, it's not what you think. It's just that when you came, I was cooking and I should have made that food in the afternoon, but I kept procrastinating. You know, my mother says that you are the reason I'm lazy. If she returned home to see you and saw that I had just begun cooking, she would have been angry. That's why I asked you to leave, Idara lied. I hope you are not offended, Idara added. No, not at all. Now that you have explained everything, I'm not angry anymore. So, did you tell your mother about our plans? I want to know when I can bring my people to see your parents officially, Akan said. Oh, not yet. She wasn't feeling well, so I have been waiting for a good time to tell her, Idara lied. Please, let me know when you do, so I can inform my family. You know you were the one who insisted we do this soon, Akan said. Don't worry, I will tell her, Idara lied. That evening, Idara and Akan spent time talking and making plans for their future until it was late in the night. Somehow, Idara had forgotten her mother's warning and she ended up staying with Akan till 9 p.m. As soon as Idara realized how late she had stayed out, she rushed home, silently praying that her mother would be asleep by the time she reached the house. Where are you coming from? Idara's mother asked as soon as she entered the living room. Her mother had been waiting for her in the dark living room, and Idara had no idea. Mama, I went to...
Idara stuttered.
You went to see that wretched Akan, didn't you?
Her mother yelled.
Mama, Akan is not wretched. Please stop calling him that.
Idara said.
Oh, so now you can talk back at me. Ha! You have now grown wings. So you think you can talk back at me?
Her mother said angrily.
Idara! 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 How many times did I call you?
Her mother asked.
3 times, Mama.
Idara reluctantly answered.
I have advised you as a mother. Do not force me to do what you will not like.
Idara's mother said before walking out on Idara.
You can do your worst. Nothing will separate me from Akan.
Idara murmured. A few days after Idara's mother warned Idara in the living room that night, she did something that Idara had not expected. Idara's mother went to Akan's house and she warned Akan to stay away from Idara, claiming that she would never allow them to marry each other. Not only that, but Idara's mother said a lot of demeaning things to Akan. She called him terrible names and even insulted his parents. When Akan heard that, he was very heartbroken and disappointed. He could not even believe that Idara's mother, who he had envisioned as his future mother-in-law, would say such horrible things to him. Meanwhile, Idara had no idea that her mother had gone to warn Akan. It was when she went to visit Akan at his house that same evening that she noticed the cold attitude from his parents and siblings.
Is everything all right?
Idara asked as soon as Akan came out of his house to see her.
Didn't your mother warn you not to step foot in my compound again?
Akan asked. Judging from how Akan looked and sounded, Idara could tell that he was not happy.
I don't understand you. What do you mean?
Idara feigned ignorance.
Idara, please stop pretending. There's no need to pretend anymore. Your mother came here this morning and she insulted me and my family just because I'm dating you. I do not want any trouble, so I'm afraid this is the end of our relationship.
Akan said.
Akan, please don't do this. Don't let my mother come in between us.
Idara begged and cried.
Look, Idara, I love you and wish you the best. As much as I would have loved for us to get married, my family cannot accept that. Not after everything that happened here this morning. So, please leave.
Akan said coldly.
Babe, please. It's me, oh, your heart beats. You cannot leave me like that.
Idara begged, but before she could talk again, Akan walked out on her. When Akan walked out on her, Idara knew that following him inside his house was foolish because his parents were also mad at her. So she returned home in tears. As soon as Idara reached her compound, she began to call her mother from the gate.
Mama! Mama!
Idara yelled angrily. Because of how loud she called her mother was forced to rush out of the house and talk to her.
What did you say to Akan this morning?
Idara yelled angrily.
Is it because of that stupid boy that you want to bring down my roof?
Her mother answered.
Mama, I asked you a question. What did you say to Akan and his parents this morning?
Idara asked again.
I told him what you could not say. Do you want to beat me?
Idara's mother asked.
Mama, you are wicked. You want to destroy my life. I told you that I'm not interested in marrying any other person apart from Akan. Why do you want to destroy my life because of your selfishness?
Idara yelled.
Watch your tongue! I'm still your mother.
Idara's mother said.
No, you are not my mother. You are a witch, a wicked witch. If you were my mother, you would tell me to do what makes me happy. But all you care about is yourself.
Idara said.
Oh, you think I didn't do this for you? Idara, you are my daughter, and I want what's best for you. If you married Akan, you would have suffered. You have always told me about your desire to travel abroad. Is it someone like Akan that will take you abroad? You need someone who can take good care of you and sponsor your dreams,
Idara's mother said.
Ah!
Immediately Idara's mother said that, Idara screamed at the top of her voice and she ran inside the house. In the days that followed, Idara refused to come out of her room or even eat anything. The only time she went out of her room was when her mother was out of the house, and if she did, she would go straight to Akan's house to beg him to take her back. However, despite going to Akan's house several times, Akan would not change his mind. No matter how many times Idara begged him, he still wanted nothing to do with her. As time passed, Idara finally accepted that she and Akan would never get back together, and she began to get closer to her mother. Also, after the news of Akan and Idara's breakup spread in their village, many men who had been eyeing Idara began to flock to her house to ask for her hand in marriage. But because Idara's mother specifically had the kind of man she wanted for Idara in mind, she turned down all the poor men who had come to ask for Idara's hand in marriage. About a year after Idara and Akan's relationship ended, a very wealthy man named Umar, who was also an indigene of Eket village, returned to Eket to bury his wife. Umar and his late wife had only been married for 4 years and they lived together in the city. Unfortunately, while going out one day, Umar's late wife was involved in a ghastly motor accident that claimed her life on the spot. Idara, have you heard that Umar's wife is dead and her burial is in 2 days? Idara's mother asked Idara one evening while they were having dinner. Yes, I heard. Poor man. I really pity him. I even heard that the woman did not give birth to any child before her demise, Idara said. Are you guys not in this village? Everyone is saying that the man is a ritualist and he used his wife as a sacrifice, Idara's father said. Papa Idara, why are you always hearing only bad things about people? So just because Umar is a wealthy man, you guys have all concluded that he is a ritualist, Idara's mother said. It's what everyone is saying. I didn't say so, Idara's father said. Instead of you consoling the poor man who has just lost his wife, you are joining other people to say horrible things about him. Yet, you will still be the same person to go and eat at that burial, Idara's mother said. Idara, my daughter, don't mind your father. I mentioned Umar because I want you to go to his house and greet him tomorrow. If he needs assistance with anything, just help him do it, Idara's mother said. But I'm not comfortable going to his house alone, Idara said. Umar is preparing for a burial. Many people will be at his house, so you will not be alone. Just make sure that he sees you. You assisting him is our family's way of supporting him. Have you heard me? Idara's mother said. Okay, I will go there tomorrow afternoon, Idara said. I didn't say you should go there with your friends, oh. Go there alone, Idara's mother said. No one knew, but Idara's mother had ulterior motives for sending Idara to Umar's house. While Idara and her father believed that Idara was only going there to assist the man, Idara's mother had other plans. The following afternoon, Idara went to Umar's house, and as her mother had predicted, it was filled with different villagers trying to help Umar prepare for the burial. Since Umar was a very wealthy man, his house was one of the biggest and finest houses in Eket. Good afternoon, sir, Idara greeted Umar as soon as she saw him. It's me, Idara, Akan's daughter. Idara introduced herself properly when she saw that Umar did not recognize her.
Ah, Idara, is this really you? Umar asked in shock. You have grown into a big, beautiful woman, and I didn't even recognize you. Umar added.
Thank you, sir. Idara blushed. I'm sorry for your loss. Idara said.
Thank you, my dear. God understands best.
Umar said. I came to assist you with some chores. Let me go and join the other women. Idara said.
Thank you so much. Please, don't fail to see me before you leave. Even if I'm busy, please wait for me.
Umar said. Okay, sir, I will. Idara said before leaving to join the other women. Some hours later, after Idara assisted the women with cooking and running some errands, she went to Umar to tell him that she was ready to leave.
Idara, I can't thank you enough for your support. Please, hold on. I have something for you. I will be right back,
Umar said before going into his room. Almost immediately, he returned with a bundle of money and he gave it to Idara. What is this for? Idara asked innocently.
It's for you. It's my way of thanking you for helping out today,
Umar said. Oh no! This is not necessary, sir. I only came here because...
This is my first gift to you. Please do not reject it,
Umar said. Okay, I won't. Thank you very much, sir, Idara said.
Enough with this, sir. Call me Umar. After all, you are a big woman now, and you can call me by my name,
Umar said. Thank you, Umar, Idara said. Then she left. On her way home, Idara was so happy and excited about the money she had received. She had even used her eyes to estimate it, and she estimated the money to be around 50,000 naira. May God bless this man, eh? Just because I helped him, he gave me all this money. Kai! His wife must have really enjoyed him. It's just sad she had to die in that accident, Idara soliloquized. As soon as Idara reached her house that evening, she went straight to her mother and showed her the money gift from Umar.
That's really nice of him. I know him to be a very generous man. I didn't think he would still be generous even while he is mourning,
Idara's mother said. Mama, he is I pity his poor wife. She left all that wealth. Kai! Life is very cruel, Idara said. My dear, everything happens for a reason, Idara's mother said. What do you mean, Mama? Idara asked. I don't want to say anything bad, but now that his wife is dead, this is an opportunity for you to enter into wealth, Idara's mother said. How, Mama? Are you trying to say I should go and seduce a man who is still mourning? Idara asked in shock. God forbid. I never asked you to do such a thing. All you had to do was see Umar, and you did your part. After the burial tomorrow, he will come looking for you, Idara's mother said. How, Mama? How can you be so sure? The man was only being nice to me, and I think it's because I was the only young woman who went there to assist him. The rest of the women there were older women, Idara said. Idara, you are as beautiful as the sun. There's no man who sets his eyes on you who will not want to have you for himself, Idara's mother said. Now that his wife is dead, I'm very sure he'll be looking for a new wife, she added. I have heard you, Mama. I want to go to my room and rest now. I am exhausted, Idara said. When Idara got to her room, she bathed, ate, and went to bed almost immediately because she was exhausted. Shortly after Idara slept, she had a bad dream that terrified her. In that dream, Idara saw herself running on a deserted road, and it seemed like she was running from something and desperately looking for help. When Idara woke up from that dream, she was very frightened. Somehow, Idara felt that the bad dream had something to do with Umar and the money she got from him. But since she didn't see anything related to Umar in that dream, she discarded the thoughts. The following morning, which was Umar's late wife's burial day, Idara dressed up and followed her parents to the burial ground. Unfortunately, since Umar had many visitors and barely had any free time, Idara and her parents did not get to talk to him that day. 3 days after the burial, Idara was in her room when she suddenly heard the sound of a car pulling over in their compound. Out of curiosity, she went to the living room window to check who it was, and to her greatest surprise, it was Umar. "Oh yeah, go inside and wear something beautiful now," Idara's mother said. "I told you he would come, didn't I?" she added. Without any delay, Idara went into her room and changed into a beautiful gown. By the time she finished dressing up, her mother had already ushered Umar into the living room. "Good afternoon, sir," Idara greeted Umar shyly as she entered the living room. "Idara, I was just asking your mother about you. Thank you again for the other day." Umar smiled. "I should be the one thanking you," Idara said. That reminds me, I brought some things for you. Please go to the car and take them," Umar said as he stretched his car keys to Idara. You didn't have to stress yourself. You just lost your wife. We are the ones who should be gifting you," Idara's mother said. "Mama Idara, I will not beat around the bush. I really like your daughter. Can you believe that since that day she came to my house, I cannot stop thinking about her?" Umar said. "My daughter is a very beautiful girl, and I raised her well," Idara's mother bragged mildly. "I want to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage, but I know she might not accept me because I just lost my wife. But you know I'm a man and I need companionship. That's the more reason I need a woman now more than ever. Please, talk to Idara for me," Umar said. "I will talk to her. But first, you must make your intentions known to her. That is the only way I can help you," Idara's mother said. While Umar and Idara's mother were talking, Idara returned from Umar's car with a big bag. When she opened the bag and saw its contents, she gasped in shock. The bag contained wrappers, jewelry, bags, and lots of expensive shoes for Idara's mother. It also contained beautiful gowns, slippers, bags, shoes, and other feminine things for Idara. All these things for us?" Idara's mother asked excitedly when she saw the bag's contents. "Yes, everything in the bag is for you and Idara. I didn't want to come here empty-handed, so I stopped by the market on my way here to buy these little things," Umar said. "Do you call these things little? Please, don't say that, oh!" Idara's mother said excitedly. Then she stood up and began to dance around the living room. Idara, what are you doing this evening?" Umar asked Idara, but before Idara could answer, her mother had already spoken. "She's not doing anything," Idara's mother interrupted. "Okay, if you are not doing anything, can we go out this evening? Maybe drive around the village?" Umar asked. At first, Idara thought of turning down Umar's request, but when she saw how her mother was looking at her, she said, "Yes, Later that evening, Idara and Umar went on a short drive around the village. They even stopped at a famous local bar to eat some fried snails and drink palm wine. While they were together, Umar told Idara that he liked her and he asked if she would like to marry him.
But you only met me a few days ago. Are you sure about this?
Idara asked.
Yes, I am very sure. In fact, I have never been so sure of something.
Umar answered.
But you just buried your wife some days ago. What will the villagers say when they hear that you are about to marry another woman?
Idara asked.
I don't care about what the villagers will say. After all, it's not like we will be living here. We will return to the city.
Umar tried to persuade Idara.
I'm not sure about it. Let me think about it,
Idara said. Okay, please do, but don't take too long. If you give me an answer on time, we can get married before I return to the city. That way, you will come with me, Umar said.
So fast?
Idara asked in shock.
Yes, I really like you, Idara.
And I believe that as we spend more time together, we will get to know and love each other.
I don't want another man to take you from me.
If there's anything you want me to do for you to prove that I love you, name it, and it's yours, Umar said.
Like I said earlier, let me go back and think about everything you have said. I will get back to you,
Idara said. When Idara returned home that night, she told her mother everything Umar had said.
Did you say yes to his proposal?
Idara's mother asked.
Mama. Even you? Umar just buried his wife some days ago. What will people say if they hear that we are getting married? You know there are already rumors that Umar has a hand in his wife's death. Marrying him will only confirm that,
Idara said.
You're saying rubbish.
Now that God wants to use this opportunity to bless us and lift our family,
you are thinking about what the villagers will say. Look, you will call Umar tomorrow morning and tell him you have accepted his proposal,
Idara's mother said.
But Mama, I don't think this is right. Umar seems too desperate and I'm not comfortable with it. He even said that if I accepted his proposal on time, we would get married before he returned to the city,
Idara said.
There is nothing desperate about that. The man knows what he wants. It's even a good thing if he marries you before he leaves. You don't know how many girls are looking for this opportunity. So better make good use of it,
Idara's mother said.
Mama, I will think about it and even pray to God about it,
Idara said.
My daughter, there is nothing to think about or pray about. God has answered our prayers. Just accept it with open arms,
Idara's mother said.
Instead of praying about it, you should be thanking God for the new life you are about to have,
she added. The following day, just as her mother had instructed, Idara called Umar and told him that she had accepted his proposal. A couple of days later, Umar went to Idara's house with his kinsmen and they started making preparations for their traditional marriage. Since Umar was in a hurry to return to the city, the traditional marriage happened within a few days, and after the marriage, he returned to the city with Idara. Upon getting to the city, Idara was shocked to see the big and beautiful mansion Umar lived in. That wasn't all. Umar also had a fleet of expensive cars parked in his compound.
Your house is very beautiful,
Idara said as soon as she stepped into the house.
It's your house now. You are the madam of the house.
Come, let me take you to your room, Umar said. When Umar told Idara that he was taking her to her room, Idara expected that she would be sharing the same bedroom with Umar, but she was wrong. My husband, are we not sharing the same room? Idara asked in a confused tone.
Oh, no, we are not. I like my privacy, so this will be your room. It's very big and there is plenty of space for you,
Umar said.
Please come, let me show you the rest of the house,
Umar added, and Idara followed him.
Now that I have shown you everywhere, there is one room that you must never enter,
Umar said, pointing at the room at the end of the corridor.
Why? What's in the room?
Idara asked.
It's none of your business. All you have to do is follow my instructions. You can enter wherever you want in this house, but do not go anywhere close to that room,
Umar said. Even his tone had changed, and Idara could tell he was very serious.
Okay, I have heard. I will not go to that room,
Idara said.
That's my baby,
Umar said in a very friendly tone.
I will be going out now to see some of my friends who could not attend the burial. If I do not come back early, do not wait for me,
Umar said. Even though Idara was a bit sad Umar was leaving her all alone in that big house, a part of her was happy to finally live in the kind of houses she saw in the movies. The remainder of that day, Idara spent most of her time walking around the house and admiring the beautiful interior designs and the expensive cars parked outside. Idara did not take the room Umar had warned her against entering seriously, until some weeks later when she began to have nightmares about the room. The first time Idara dreamt about that room, she saw Umar's late wife standing by the door, and she was covered in blood. Initially, Idara believed that it was just her mind playing tricks on her. But when the dream became reoccurring, she became worried. Aside from the weird dreams Idara had about that room, she also began to notice some weird things about Umar. For example, every night, Umar would wake up by midnight, go to the secret room and stay there until 3 a.m. Also, another thing that bothered Idara was that since she and Umar got married, Umar had never slept with her. Several times, Idara tried to seduce Umar into sleeping with her, but no matter how hard she tried, Umar wouldn't fall for her seduction. When 1 year passed and Idara and Umar had never met as husband and wife, Idara became very worried. So, she traveled to Eket village to see her mother.
My daughter, hey, see how you are glowing. Umar is really taking good care of you,
Idara's mother said.
Mama, I came to see you because there is a problem,
Idara said before narrating everything to her mother.
Maybe he could have his reasons for not wanting to touch you yet.
Idara's mother tried to defend Umar.
Mama, there is no reason. That man is not normal. Remember that secret room I told you about? He still goes there every midnight.
Idara cried. She was so frustrated that she could not hold back her tears.
Relax. Even though your husband told you not to enter one of his rooms, that does not mean he is not a good husband. Is he not taking good care of you?
Idara's mother asked.
Has there been a time you asked him for something and he didn't give it to you?
Idara's mother asked.
No,
Idara answered.
Then you have to stop complaining. Men are different. Maybe Umar has his own way of operating. You cannot leave your husband's house because of little issues like this,
Idara's mother said.
But Mama, I know what I've been seeing. You even need to see the kind of creepy friends he keeps. I'm beginning to think that all of the rumors about Umar being a ritualist are true.
Idara said.
Shut up! I don't ever want to hear you say such a thing. It's disrespectful to your husband to say that. In fact, I'm not having this conversation again.
Did you bring the money I asked you? Idara's mother asked. Also, do not even think of sleeping here. Once you have rested, start returning to your husband's house, Idara's mother said after collecting the bundles of money from Idara. Since her mother had made it clear that she wouldn't sleep there, Idara returned to the city that day. Upon arriving at her house, she was shocked to see many cars parked outside and inside her compound. It turned out that Umar had invited some of his friends to his house in Idara's absence, and he did not expect Idara to return that same day since she had traveled with a small box. When Idara entered the house and saw that the secret room was open for the first time, she decided to peep and see what Umar and his friends were doing inside. But nothing could have prepared her enough for what she saw next. Inside the secret room, Idara saw Umar's friends all dressed in red, and she saw Umar butchering a baby while his friends surrounded him, chanting something Idara did not know. Jesus! Idara screamed after she saw what Umar and his friends were doing in the secret room and ran as fast as her legs could carry her. Immediately Idara screamed. Umar and his friends chased her and they caught her. Without wasting time, Umar used the big knife he was using to butcher the baby and stabbed Idara in the stomach. I told you never to come to this room, but you women will not just listen, Umar said while Idara groaned in pain. Take her to the altar immediately. We must not let her blood waste. I have invested too much in this church rat, Umar said, and two of his friends dragged Idara's weak body to the secret room. When Umar's friends dragged Idara to the secret room, she was shocked to see all the creepy things in the room. But that was not all. She also saw something that gave her goosebumps. Even though Idara had attended Umar's late wife's burial, she saw the woman there at the corner vomiting bundles of money from her mouth. The scariest part was that the same way Idara saw Umar's late wife was the same way she had been seeing her in her nightmares. Her whole body and white gown was covered in blood, and her neck was bleeding profusely. So, Umar is really a ritualist. I told my greedy mother, but she wouldn't listen. Idara cried weakly. The stab wound had caused her to bleed profusely, so she barely had the strength to even move her body. Shortly after Idara got dragged into the secret room, Umar came to speak to her, but before he arrived, Idara had already passed away. You did this to yourself. You should have stayed in your wretched mother's house, Umar said. When Umar confirmed that Idara had passed away, he called Idara's mother and lied that Idara had been involved in a ghastly motor accident on her way back from Eket. Upon hearing that her daughter was dead, Idara's mother screamed and cried bitterly. What? How? But she was just here! How did it happen? Idara's mother asked all at once. I don't know, Mama. But all I can say is that I will take care of her burial. I will return to Eket with her corpse in 2 days, Umar said before he ended the call. While on the phone with Idara's mother, Umar pretended like he was hurt and mourning his dead wife. Meanwhile, he was happy he had managed to get more blood for his sacrifice, even though he had planned to sacrifice Idara after 4 years. 2 days later, Umar returned with Idara's corpse to Eket, and as soon as Idara's mother saw her daughter's lifeless body, she fainted. Thankfully, some of her family members managed to wake her up.
You must give me my daughter, oh! You must give me my daughter, oh! You must provide my daughter! You've only married her for 1 year and some months! This was not the plan!
Idara's mother yelled as she held Umar's clothes.
Mama, I am as heartbroken as you are. I don't know who I offended. Is it a crime for me to have money? Why are the enemies so bent on tainting my good name?
Umar said while pretending to cry.
Mama Idara, this is not the time to act dramas. Let us sit here and discuss the burial preparations. That was why we came here,
one of Idara's uncles said. After giving Idara's mother some minutes to calm herself, the family elders began the burial preparations and they fixed the burial in a week. Since Umar said he would cover the cost of the burial, there was no need to keep Idara's body. A week later, on the burial day, something unexplainable happened. For some reason, the undertakers could not carry Idara's coffin from the village mortuary to the burial ground. After waiting for several hours at the burial ground and Idara's coffin did not arrive, Idara's mother and her family members were forced to go to the mortuary to see what was happening.
Ah! I said it! My daughter's death was not natural!
Idara's mother began to cry and hug Idara's coffin when she saw that Idara's ghost wouldn't let the undertakers take her coffin to the burial ground.
My daughter, please, listen to me. I want you to kill whoever had a hand in your death. Disgrace the person just as they have disgraced me.
Idara's mother said in tears, and as soon as she said that, Idara's coffin began to shake. Then, the most terrifying thing happened. Idara's coffin suddenly opened, and Idara's dead body sat up. Immediately, the undertakers, the mortuary attendants, and even Idara's family members saw that. They took to their heels. Without saying a word to anyone, Idara's ghost got out of her coffin, walked a bit from the mortuary, and disappeared.
Ah! Mama Idara, what have you done?
One of Idara's uncles yelled, but Idara's mother did not answer. After Idara's ghost disappeared from the mortuary, she appeared at the burial ground where Umar, some of his friends and the villagers had gathered and were waiting for Idara's corpse to arrive.
What are you doing here? The dead have no business with the living,
Umar said as soon as he saw Idara's ghost.
I command you to leave now,
he said aggressively. At first, some villagers did not see who Umar was talking to, but when Idara's ghost revealed herself to everyone at the burial ground, almost everyone except Umar's friends ran away.
I command you to leave here now! Leave!
Umar yelled, but before he could say another word, Idara's ghost stretched her hands towards Umar, and Umar suddenly held his stomach in pain. Then he fell to the ground and died instantly. Immediately after Umar died, Idara's ghost disappeared and her body appeared back in her coffin. When the villagers of Eket saw everything that had happened, they knew that Umar was responsible for Idara's death, and they confirmed the rumors of him being a ritualist. After Idara's ghost killed Umar, the undertakers were finally able to take her coffin to the burial ground, and she was buried successfully. As for Umar, his family members refused to claim his corpse, and one of the villagers ended up burying him in a shallow grave so his rotting body would not pollute the air. Even though Idara was successfully buried, her mother never got over her death. Even on her deathbed, she blamed herself for being greedy and pushing her daughter to an early grave. The end. Did you enjoy this story? Tell us your favorite parts in the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also, do not forget to follow our channel on Facebook and Instagram for more stories. Thank you.